A lot of people have spent the last few days trying to figure out exactly how President Biden did so badly at the first presidential debate. How could he get trounced by Trump so thoroughly? Maybe he's too old. Maybe his mind is going a little bit. Maybe his handlers just gave him too much to remember and he couldn't remember it all. But there is one thing I haven't seen anyone mention. What if Biden is just completely stuck inside of his own filter bubble? The presidential debate last week was bad, folks. CNN's moderators basically let former President Donald Trump spew insane lies for 90 minutes uninterrupted, occasionally cutting to President Joe Biden doing his best impression of that animated GIF where a dog sees cupcakes for the first time. A lot of people said that Biden's one thing that he had to do at this debate was to prove that he wasn't old, which he didn't do. But I would argue there was a more important thing that he was supposed to do. Prove that the Democrats take things seriously, that they understand what voters care about. So it's especially frustrating to see Biden botching absolutely softball questions about his policies, like whatever this was when he was asked about Roe v. Wade.
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous.
If you've never heard the term filter bubble before, it basically refers to the videos in your TikTok feed, articles on your Facebook, this impenetrable wall of information that's surrounding you all day long. Democrats have had an issue with understanding reality for quite a while. In fact, there's a video clip that I think about quite often because if you were to ask me, when did Hillary Clinton lose the 2016 election? I would say it happened at this exact moment right here.
Because we're going to have a lot of jobs from building infrastructure to coding, creating new apps. I don't know who created Pokemon Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
The reason this video clip haunts me is because it so concisely sums up how Democrats see messaging, how they think about popular culture, which is to say, they don't really understand it. They think they can sort of just go viral, but it doesn't work that way. And it stopped working that way in 2015, but it definitely doesn't work that way now. The debate was the first time Biden and Trump have shared a stage in 4 years, making it a culmination of America's great post-pandemic info divide. About midway through, moderator Jake Tapper asked Trump about the rising cost of childcare. And obviously, Trump did not answer the question at all, and instead launched into a meandering rant about how Biden is the worst president in history.
But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now, all of a sudden, he's trying to get a little tough on the border.
But when moderators threw the childcare question to Biden, instead of just ignoring what Trump said, like any serious person would have, like he would have in 2020, Biden spent the majority of his allotted time trying to remember a thing he read online about how Trump actually was the worst president of all time. He did eventually say that he would increase the child care tax credit.
The idea that we're talking about worst presidents, I wasn't joking. Look it up, go online. 159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. One through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history.
As the Washington Post's Gene Park wrote on X last week, they were debating Metacritic scores. And you could summarize the entire debate as critic score versus audience score. On one side, there was Biden, the glitching avatar of the DC Silicon Valley revolving door where conspiracy theories can still be moderated, where sentiment can still be accurately measured, where the right brand safe, viral stunt can break the internet and capture the hearts and minds of America. And on the other side was Trump, pure vibes and bile, the king of Hawk to America, what writer Max Reed recently dubbed the Zinternet, where the only thing that matters is what's catchy enough to shout at a tailgate party. Though Trump was never actually a very sophisticated internet user, I spent years writing stories trying to trace his talking points back to various far-right corners of the web, and I feel pretty confident in saying that he was not using powerful memetics to launder 4chan talking points into the mainstream or whatever. Trump was just an opportunistic Twitter power user at a moment when Twitter mattered to people who mattered. But he was banned from the app in January 2021, reinstated at the end of 2022 after Musk bought the site, and has only posted once since. It was a picture of a mugshot with a link to his website. Instead, Trump spent the majority of Biden's presidency posting into the ether over on Truth Social, shuffling in and out of courtrooms, and most crucially, attending his own rallies. Meanwhile, Biden spent the 2020 campaign and initial years of his presidency in a COVID bubble, which he replaced with an ideological one last year once Americans and his own staffers began protesting the conflict in Israel and Palestine. And all the while, he has continued to rely on the social media playbook the Obama administration cooked up in the 2000s. Would you prefer a Kamala Harris pantsuit bi flag or trans flag coffee cup? Both go well with your Dark Brandon t-shirt, which you can wear while you watch your Dark Brandon video edits his team is panic posting to TikTok, the video app he's already signed a law banning. Barack Obama's campaign is largely considered the first online campaign in 2008. And he won that thanks to really leaning into a very young digital ecosystem, Facebook, early Twitter. And the difference between then and now is that back then, if you looked professional online, you would do well. If you had a cool infographic or, I don't know, a fun poster, you would go viral. But that's not how things work anymore. In fact, the opposite is almost true now. People want authenticity, or at least the illusion of it. Look, I'm not a political reporter. I write about technology. So I can't say if this debate has completely sunk Biden's chances at a re-election. But what I can say is that it has absolutely proven that he and his team do not understand how things work right now online. Bizarrely, Trump didn't feel like the online candidate. Biden did, and not in a good way. Biden was the one clearly trying for the viral sound bites, which he botched every time. He's the one trying to turn his one-liners into catchphrases at a rally the next day.
Of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant. I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Which, of course, is hurriedly clipped for social.
Now, folks, I don't know what you did last night, but I spent 90 minutes on a stage debating a guy who has the morals of an alley cat.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
He's the one whose famous friends are playing defense for him online. And he's the one that come November won't understand why none of this mattered.